So yeah, thanks for joining us. We are really excited to dive into some thought-provoking questions today. So we will be starting really soon. We are still letting some people in. Great. I think we can get started, Milos. Great. So welcome to Mastering SuiteCommerce SEO. So this is a live Q&A with industry experts. My name is Felipe. Here with me we have Milos. I'm the growth manager. He is the star of the show today. He's one of our SEO consultants. He specializes in helping SuiteCommerce, eCommerce, Shopify, and other e-commerce businesses in growing their organic traffic, their organic revenue. He has expertise in keyword research, a lot of knowledge into technical SEO, which, as you will see, for SuiteCommerce is really important. And content optimization. He crafts data-driven strategies tailored to each client's goals. Some fun facts about Milos: he's passionate about history, so you can also ask him whatever you want about the European history, for example, or soccer as well.
That's for another Q&A.
Yeah, we can have a separate one for that, Milos. Okay. So the agenda for today, we will have a brief introduction. We will present a little bit of what we will be presenting today. This is just for us to have an idea of everyone who is joining, if you want to have a particular question and so on. Then we go to live Q&A, and after all of that, we will have a really brief conclusion and wrap up, in which we will be sending you as well the SEO checklist. So how do you interact? We have the Q&A below. You will see it on the tab. If it says questions and answers, please use it to submit your questions. They are anonymously. And also you can interact on YouTube. We will be checking that out with the interactive live chat. Okay, yeah, and finally, let's unplug. We invite you to take this as a guided meditation. Instead of finding like inner peace or something, you will find a lot of knowledge into SEO. So with that, I pass it to you, Milos.
Thank you, Felipe. So as Felipe said, of course, the goal here is to discuss a little bit about SEO, a little bit about SuiteCommerce, and to see how they correlate together. And then, of course, you will be able to ask any questions that you want. And I feel that I believe that we will have enough time to answer all of those. But of course, you can always send us email after this if there are any other questions. So, of course, with SEO, our ultimate goal is to drive more profit. And to drive more profit, usually, not always, but usually, we need higher revenue. And with SEO, we are trying to do it by increasing the organic traffic, right? But this is not the only thing that we can do with SEO, because when you position yourself among the top results in Google, you are becoming kind of authority in your niche, and also you are building your brand awareness. And it's also quite important as well, because people tend to trust more brands that they see often in top Google results. So this is also something that is interesting when it comes to SEO, something that's not that measurable as for example your organic traffic. But also besides all of this, and especially because of things like competitor research or keyword research, SEO can also drive business decisions. So you can see that something is growing in popularity or dropping in popularity. You can maybe find some unexplored things that are part of your business that you can do, maybe that you didn't start doing yet. So SEO can also be helpful with driving some of the business decisions. And also, SEO can help you to have better results on other marketing channels, especially with PPC, because whenever you optimize certain page or pages for SEO, it improves overall quality score for Google Ads, which can lead to lower cost per click for keywords that you optimized for. And this can also save you a lot of resources on your PPC campaigns, for example. So SEO can help you in a lot of things, not just with organic traffic, even though main thing is improving organic traffic, that will lead to higher revenue and higher profit in the end. Now, SEO is in general, SEO is agnostic. It means that it doesn't matter if we are on one platform or the other platform, or if we are in, let's say, one niche or the other niche. Mostly things are very common, and it's kind of easy to understand SEO, as you will see. So the most important thing is to target the right keywords, right? So usually you do a good keyword research and then you target keywords. Even though I saw in my career some very talented people that were able to do it even without a proper keyword research, but it happens rarely. But the important thing is that you target the right keywords, and when you target the right keywords, then you need to optimize the content for those keywords. So optimizing content is really important as well. We will talk a little bit how you can do that, but that is the second part of SEO. Third part is to have a good technical setup, and that mostly means that Google can access all of your pages, and that they also can process all the information on your website, and also that you don't have too many unnecessary pages. It often happens that you have, for example, duplicated content, or when you're using some platforms, they can create a little bit of junk of pages that are not necessary on your website. So a proper technical setup will take care of all of this and give you the best results. And then also having as high authority as possible. Authority in SEO comes from backlinks from other websites, where each backlink serves as a vote for your website. So the more votes you have, the better it is. Of course, not each backlink is equally valued. So for example, it's not the same if you get a backlink from some personal blog that maybe I'm writing about that only my mom reads, and the backlink from CNN, for example. So it's very different. Of course, the CNN one will be valued much more, but also the more relevant backlink is, the higher value it is as well. So if it comes from your niche, is much more valued than if it comes from some completely unrelated niche. So those are the most important things when it comes to SEO. Now, I always like to say SEO is pretty simple as the game of basketball, for example. And the thing with basketball is there are some rules. You need to know rules. You can learn them in a day. And the problem comes when you go to the court and you try to score the basket. It's not that easy. And then if you compete against LeBron James, you're going to lose, right? And the same thing is pretty much for SEO. To do those four things that I just said is not very easy. It's not very easy to discover all the keywords that you want, even though that's maybe kind of time-consuming, but easy part. What's hard is to optimize this content, because oftentimes, for example, with category pages or with product pages, we are a little bit limited with space that we have for textual content. So that is one problem. Then comes the technical aspect, where we want to provide the best user experience, but SEO practices, someone works greatly together with UX, but sometimes goes against each other. And that's a little bit of problem there. And then also, we cannot optimize everything. So the thing is, we need to kind of prioritize some things, as you will see here. And that's exactly why it's called search engine optimization. It's not search engine perfecting, let's say, or something like that. It is optimization. So you need to find out what's the most important part that you want to prioritize, and so on. So in general, implementing SEO strategy is the hard part. We mostly know what are the best practices, and especially lately in the last, I would say, 6 months or something like that, there were some Google leaks, and we kind of saw some of the Google documentation. We figured out some things about Google, but not everything. As one SEO expert said it right, he said, we know ingredients, but we don't know the recipe. And that is the thing about SEO. So we don't know how much exactly of what we need to do, but we know the best practices. We know what we need to do. Now it's just a matter of how you optimize it, how you test it, and so on. So that is one of the problems, and that is why it is so hard to rank well. The other part is competition. So here we're talking about e-commerce businesses, and besides all of your regular, like similar businesses as you are, there are always Amazon, Target, Home Depot, websites like that are also competing with you, and they have huge authorities, huge marketing budgets, and it's really hard to compete with them as well. So that's why it's so hard. Now, I did say that SEO is agnostic and that it doesn't matter what platform you're using. And that is from the perspective of Google, right? But from your perspective, it is a little bit different if you are using different platforms. And SuiteCommerce, in that sense, has its own specifics and limitations. And of course, SuiteCommerce gives you the environment in which you are going to work. And by understanding NetSuite and SuiteCommerce, you will save a lot of time, basically not trying to fix things that are unfixable in SuiteCommerce. But at the same time, you will know about some positive features that you can use in your campaign. So specifics of NetSuite are, first of all, it has the native integration with NetSuite, and that's why it makes things a little bit easier most of the time. But one thing that is really different to other platforms is that they offer SEO debug tool that can be used. Basically, it's just a parameter that you add to the URL of any page, and then you open the source code and you see if there are any errors that might be breaking the website. And thanks to this tool, it's quite easy to debug, to find some errors, to troubleshoot any errors that might exist and that might be breaking your website. So one thing that is also that I kind of like and dislike, that is double-edged sword, I would say, for SuiteCommerce, is possibility to make facets indexable. Now, this is a great option in my opinion, but a great option for someone who exactly knows what he is doing. I saw some errors, and we will talk in the next slide about those errors with this kind of setup. Third thing that I like about SuiteCommerce is their setup of infinity scroll. So infinity scroll in general is not very SEO friendly because Google is link-based algorithm, and they use links to access other pages on your website. And if you have infinity scroll, Google bots, they don't scroll your page, right? They open the code and that's it. The good setup in SuiteCommerce is that they always add in the code, they add like a link to the previous and next page of your commerce categories, so that Google bots can access the next page and next page after that and so on. And then the last thing that is kind of common for all the e-commerce platforms, it is structured data. So structured data is populated automatically in SuiteCommerce, and that is great. There is only a little bit of problems there that it can be broken sometimes, and mostly it's because the database isn't populated correctly. So in that case, you either need to change the fields that are picked up to populate the structured data, or you need to fix your database. So that's about it. Just a second. So having all that in mind, and with our SEO campaigns and by analyzing other SuiteCommerce websites, there are some common mistakes that people make on SuiteCommerce websites. And it can be also in a lot of other e-commerce websites as well. First of all, they are not doing technical health checks. And this is something that I really believe should be made, especially anytime when NetSuite makes some kind of update or anything like that. There are also oftentimes Google updates as well, where Google might assess your website again. So after all of these, I think it would be very smart to make a health check to check if everything is working properly on your website. Now, a lot of mistakes that people are doing are simply related to keywords and content and the way people optimize their pages for certain keywords. So one of the errors that people do is that they don't target any keywords on the homepage. So they only target their brand name. And homepage is always the most authoritative page on a website. And I really believe that people are missing the opportunity here to target one of their most important keywords. So that is something that should always be done. Other thing is poor targeting of keywords on category pages. And me and Felipe were discussing this lately a lot. People would, for example, target keyword that is tools, or for example, brushes. And you have all kinds of tools, all kinds of brushes. It can be makeup brushes, hair brushes, toothbrushes, paint brushes, machine brushes. And if you're targeting machine brushes, but you're using only the word brushes, Google will probably think that you want to rank for hair brushes because this is the most common thing people search for. So you need to narrow it down, and you need to kind of be more descriptive with your words, what exactly you are targeting. And this is a very common mistake that we see. People think from the perspective of a customer that knows their business, that already landed on their website. But they need to put themselves also in the perspective of Google, who is starting to assess your website, but also from the user that starts with Google. Because from what we could, we saw some statistics that says that 68% of experiences online start with search engine, right? With Google or Bing or something like that. So people go to Google first, and then they search for things, rather than just visiting your website directly. And most of the times, at least. So you need to take that also into account. One more thing that we are often seeing is not utilizing keywords in the product names for the optimization of categories. So when you see the structure of your category, it has its name, and then it might have some description. And my suggestion is always to have at least some description, because you're adding some relevant keywords there. And then it has the list of products. It can be 24, 48, I don't know how many, 16 or something like that products usually. And the thing is, the product names that are listed there, they have the product names listed. And this is a piece of content that helps you with optimization of those category pages. So for example, I had a great example of well-optimized page. I was searching a few days ago to buy snowboard boots. And one of the examples was I searched for Barton snowboard boots, and then they had their product listed. Now they could name it Photon, Ion, I don't know, Ruler, the names of the product itself, but they named it Photon snowboard boots, Ruler snowboard boots, and so on. So they always use this keyword snowboard boots, and because of that, that empowered them to rank better for snowboard boots for this category. So this is also something that should be done that people neglect a little bit sometimes. Then, of course, something that I already mentioned, not adding descriptions for products and categories. Google simply needs textual content, and the more textual content you have, the better it is. So if you want to rank for snowboard boots, of course, you need to use this phrase or to use snowboard and boots, but also you might need words like snow, winter, slope, vacation, maybe, I don't know, off track, maybe, you know, things that are relevant to snowboarding. So because of that, you need to use all of those phrases. Of course, we have tools that might help us to analyze what is necessary if we want to rank for that phrase. But you need this piece of content there. And you know, the best way to have it is a product description or a category description. So you should always add as much content. If you add it naturally, you will properly guess probably at least half of those necessary phrases that needs to be used there. As a common mistake, besides those keyword and content mistakes that we saw, a common technical mistake is, as I said already, poor setup of facets. So what happens? Because in SuiteCommerce, you can set up facets as URL parameters, where you will have a canonical tag that will tell Google, do not index this page. Instead, you know, index the page without the parameters, so non-faceted page only. And when we say that something is indexed, basically that means that Google puts it into its database and use it for the Google results. So people sometimes turn those URL parameters into URL components, and that means that now they do not have that canonical tag set up, and those can be indexed. The problem with that is that sometimes usually there is multiple selection of facets. And that means that you might have, for example, facets that are brands, and you have 20 different brands. And then you have colors, and you have 15 different colors. And then you have sizes, and this is like, I don't know, 15 different sizes. And you might have something else as well. And then you have all the possible combinations of those, from only one facet to all the facets and everything in between. And that can lead to millions and millions of possible pages. And this is problematic because those pages are oftentimes with zero products, so they are completely useless, and or with only one product maybe. And also, so Google sees them as low quality pages that can hurt your SEO. But also, you have now millions of pages while you have maybe 1,000 products. And that leads to lower authority per page on your website. And because of that, you might rank worse. So this is something that I would always avoid, this kind of setup for facets. Also, a common mistake is redirecting to search pages or to home page. So sometimes people redirect a lot of their, let's say, 404 pages, or if they are migrating website, they redirect all the pages to home page. This is not very good because let's take example of snowboard boots page again. So if it was a certain snowboard boot, now it used to bring in a lot of traffic and we want to redirect it, that is fine. if we redirect it to the home page, and home page might be, let's say, sports equipment or something like that, it is not very relevant. It is relevant, but it's not very similar. So this is not a good redirect for Google. And even though the redirect will work for the user, Google will not take it into account. And it will not pass the authority of the old page to the home page. If we are redirecting the snowboard boot to another snowboard boot or to the category that is snowboard boots, that is perfect. That is very good redirect. If we are redirecting it to, let's say, snowboard equipment, that is still pretty good redirect. But if we are redirecting to something that is completely different, that is not boots, that is not snowboard, then Google will say, okay, you're redirecting something that is not very similar, and this is not a good redirect. I will not count it. So this is something that people need to take care about. Also, redirecting to something with facet, to something with parameters, to something that is faceted search, or something that's created with the search page on your website is also not good enough, because Google will not see the page that user sees. It will see the page that is listed in the canonical tag, which might be very different. So you are targeting something that is snowboard boots to something that is targeting basically a keyword search, which is completely different. So you should avoid that as well. And one more technical error that we often see, something that also Google doesn't like very much. Google likes when all the pages can be accessed by Googlebot, and that means through internal links. And it's pretty similar or how user without keyboard would access those pages. So you go with mouse, you go to the navigation, you select some category, you select a subcategory maybe, you go to fourth page and you find the product that you want, right? So Google wants to be able to access all of the pages this way. And sometimes it happens that basically some pages are not accessible to Google, and mostly in this case it happens simply because you didn't assign any category to some of your products. So this is also a very common mistake that we're seeing in general with e-commerce businesses. So this is something that also should be avoided. There are, of course, many more things about optimizing your website for SEO, but those are the most common things that you need to care about. And if you really cover all this, you covered, I would say, 80% of what's really necessary. Other than that, it's all about details and so on.
That's great. That was really insightful, Miller. I have two comments from your presentation. Basically, this is a fun fact that I missed, and it's the fact that you like and really love snowboarding, and you really show throughout the presentation. So
yeah.
And for the people, you may already have noticed, well, we call Milos the professor, and you have probably seen why. He really did a really good presentation. So before we get into the Q&A part, we just wanted to why are we here talking about this today? These are just a few of our SEO services numbers. I don't want to dive really deep into this, but to show our expertise, we have 35 SEO ROI. So this is right in the center of our value proposition. We provide ROI for companies running on NetSuite. We have a 45% decrease in organic revenue, 80,000 new keywords positioned in the last year, and 55% increase in organic traffic. So yeah, we are having really good results. Milos and the SEO team are really on the center of that. So we are really proud. Okay, to the Q&A. We already have some questions from everyone on the audience. Feel free to type whatever you like to ask as well. But we can go and we can start with the first one. It's for you, Milos. How do we optimize product and category pages for SEO on SuiteCommerce?
Okay, so okay, maybe I don't see it in the same order as you, but
No worries. Yeah, I'm starting with the probably what I think is the most basic one,
uh-huh.
or the one that will drive the most results to
Okay,
everyone.
no,
Yeah.
no problem at all. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how do we optimize for product and category pages? Well, first of all, the most important part always is, as I said, you need to target the right keyword, and the right keyword is a tricky question as well, because the right keyword doesn't have to be the one with the highest search volume, right? You need to think about the intent of this keyword as well. You need to think also about the difficulty, because maybe you can target slightly different keyword with lower competition, let's say, and then you need to find some balance there usually. And once you decided what keyword you want to target, this keyword needs to be presented in the meta title or title tag, call it however you want, and it needs to be presented in the main headline of the page, no matter if it's category or product page. It needs to be in the H1. You should have only one H1 per page, and then you also need to have some textual content there that is using all those relevant phrases. So I gave you example, like if you want to target snowboard boots, maybe we need to use words like winter, snow, vacation, whatever. But we need to cover some of those keywords there, and we need textual content, of course. With product pages, I think it's a little bit easier, because in product details we kind of do have space to make it larger. With categories, it is a little bit trickier, I would say, because you don't want to put products too much down. So you want to have like a short description, and then, as I said, think about product names in service of optimizing categories to use those necessary phrases there as well, uh, if anyhow possible. So I would say that's the most important part. And then besides that, think about internal linking. So whatever is linked from your home page will have the highest value. And because of that, for example, right now it's Christmas season pretty much already, and at least when it comes to buying and selling things, and this is a good opportunity. Everything that is really important and related to Christmas, you can link from your homepage to your website.
That's great, Mirosh. That's a good answer. So for everyone, please remember you can include your question on the Q&A section below. If you are in YouTube, you can send us your question on the interactive live chat as well. We will do our best to answer all of them. So we are going to go to the second one, Milos. We are going in order now.
Okay.
Yeah. This might be a little bit more advanced, but it's how should parent and child SKUs be structured for optimal SEO on SuiteCommerce?
That is a pretty good question. And they say like the most common answer in SEO is it depends, and this is one of those questions. Well, it depends actually on what are the children pages. So if let's say we have a t-shirt page and t-shirt product, and if children are colors, for example, so it is black t-shirt, blue t-shirt, red t-shirt, yellow t-shirt. Okay, so it makes sense to have like parent and child structure, because this is how people search for. People search for black t-shirt. They search for, and I checked it before this Q&A just to be sure. So they search for those things, uh, and what they don't search, for example, is the sizes. So they don't search for L t-shirt or M t-shirt or something like that. So if you have this kind of setup where it is t-shirts and sizes as children, it would be much better that you have a matrix item. where the URL doesn't change, or if it changes, that it's with parameter. But if it changes, if it's a different URL and you have this parent and child structure, only have that set up for products that have this kind of search in Google that is included for each of the children individually, if that makes sense. If I managed to explain that well.
You did, and I'm really glad that you were able to use your catchphrase. It depends, because it's probably the one answer that we give the most. Of course, we follow up with the
Yeah, I mean,
right.
a lot of things in SEO are, depending on the case itself. It's not always the same, but it
Yeah.
mostly depends on what people search for, right? So it always starts with user and with what they search, and that's why keyword research is so important, actually, to make the right decisions in that sense.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I hope people will get after this. So everything starts with keyword research and understanding the users and how do they search as well. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one. So this one says, what are the biggest SEO risks when migrating to SuiteCommerce from another platform? I think we can take this one
Yeah,
more on migration in
that's
general.
honestly, we could do a whole Q&A just about that, and a whole webinar about that. But there are risks, and let's say that potentially you do everything right, and you migrate from one platform to another, and it's everything is the same. You did everything correctly. Still, there is some risk that it will take some time for Google to process all the information, because now the new website is also full with JavaScript. There are a lot of pages on e-commerce websites and so on. So sometimes Google struggles a little bit with processing all that information. So it happened that we even saw in some cases like 10% drop for I don't know, 10 days, 20 days maybe, but then it recovers, even when everything was done perfectly. Even though in most cases it will not happen if everything is done well, but it can happen. But also, with some websites, we saw that they sometimes in the past they didn't do the right migration. What people mostly what mistakes they do is that they change the content. For example, the content that was good, they change it suddenly. Sometimes they switch some categories to facets where they lose all this traffic. That is one of the mistakes. One of the mistakes is that they don't set up the redirects if the URLs have changed. And one very common when we talk about redirects is that they completely forget that they already have some existing redirects, right? So the old pages that existed that had some value were properly redirected. But now when they migrate, they completely forget about those old pages, and they simply lose this part of authority. And because of that, they lose a little bit of authority and they drop in traffic and rankings. And something that is also a little bit risky always is switching domains. So not just switching platforms, but you also change the domain as well. Now this is a tricky part as well, but and there especially it takes some time for Google to process all the information, but mostly it's the case that people only change the platform. Rarely when they really want to rebrand themselves, then they change the domain as well.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And as you said, probably we could even have a whole conversation regarding migrations, because it's such a big topic.
It is.
Yeah, but I hope that at least we can give like a glimpse of what entails doing a migration. We have two questions that are really similar, so I'm going to group them together. One says, what tools do you recommend for conducting SEO audits on SuiteCommerce? And other one, it says, which free tool can be used to test my website SEO?
Okay, well, first of all, as I said, SEO debug tool is great to troubleshoot any errors that might be breaking the website, even though it's a little bit difficult to. I mean, even I, when I notice some errors, I ask our developers, to see what's going on there. So it's not easy to use it. As for the tools, you always have free tool that is Google Search Console, right? In Google Search Console, you can see what keywords are bringing traffic for you, but you can also see how Google perceives your website. So you can see what 404 pages Google saw. You can see what pages Google indexed. You can see how what Google thinks about your structured data, if it's correct or not. You can see if there are, let's say, redirect errors, if there are some things that Google calls soft 404s. Basically, page is not 404, but Google treats it as 404. Mostly it's the case because it has like a very thin content. It's some page where maybe you just have some image and no text besides that, something like that. So I would say Google Search Console is something that you should always use. If you haven't set it up, set it up. It's a very useful tool. At least, if nothing else, you will see what people search for when they land on your website. So that's it. Other tools, Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog is free, and you can crawl your website and see some data about it. In free option, I think you can crawl only 500 pages, and you will already see if some things are wrong there. So usually to of course you can pay, and it's quite cheap. I would say it's around $200 or something like that for a year, and you can crawl the entire website. But even with those 500 pages, you will be able to see if there are some major issues usually. So this is something that can be used. There are other paid tools, like I like Ahrefs. It's probably the best tool. It's very similar to SEMrush, that might be very popular, but I think SEMrush was mostly used by PPC experts, and Ahrefs was mostly used by SEO experts in the past. Now they kind of tried replicating features from each other, so they are very similar right now, but at least what they offer. But it is paid. It is a little bit more expensive tool, and talking about tools, whenever you're using some tool, it will tell you something. So it will tell you, like, you have 404 pages. Now, maybe you simply removed some page because you don't have that product anymore, and that's perfectly fine. Having 404 is perfectly fine on a website. Or sometimes you might see a lot of regular pages, but they shouldn't be regular pages. They should be either pages with canonical tag or pages with that shouldn't exist at all. So those tools need to be assessed manually. After they provide you that, they're great for providing data, but then the data needs to be assessed by someone, by you or by some SEO expert that know what they are looking for. So a lot of great tools, I would say. It's just that not all of them will do everything automatically for you.
Yeah.
You need to go through it and try to use them as best as you can. Ahrefs is also pretty good for keyword research, for competitor research as well. So a great tool, but I don't know, it costs like around $200 per month or something like that, I think.
Yeah. So basically, there is no like unique source of truth. You will have to mix a little bit of many
Exactly.
tools to have the most complete information. But in a nutshell, Google Search Console is probably the one that is free and the one that gives you the most
Google Search
information.
Console, Screaming Frog are the best for analyzing, technically your website, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, we move on to the next one. And I'm sorry because I am skipping the order again, Milos, but this is
No
something that
worries.
you mentioned a few times already, and it was related to the SEO debug tool. So here we have literally best practices for using the SEO debug tool.
Well, I mean, it's very simple. You simply open the page, you add the parameter. The best practices, I would say, is always open incognito mode. You can add the no cache parameter as well to make sure that you are getting the version of page that is not cached. So the latest version, let's say, and basically you just look for any errors that you can find and try to fix it. It's sometimes very difficult because the errors that happen on SuiteCommerce websites, sometimes they are a result of some kind of incompatibility between SuiteCommerce and some extensions. And in order to fix it, basically you need to fix extension. And because those are third-party extensions, then there might be a problem, because they need to fix it. So sometimes it's very difficult to actually fix what you find, but it's very easy to let's say to analyze and to see if there are any errors. Some of those errors might break really important things. Sometimes that completely this pre-rendered version where all the content is listed and meta tags and so on, that it's completely broken and that Google sees a blank page. But sometimes it doesn't affect much. So it's but you would see, for example, if meta tags are missing, if canonical tags are missing. Those are the most important things that you should always look for in the source code. If it works, it's kind of okay. I would always try to fix all the errors if anyhow possible. But if it works, that's good. If it doesn't work, then it's very urgent, I would say, and then you need to try to fix it however you know.
Yep, that's great. Awesome. So we have three questions related to off-page SEO. We have one that says, okay, we need to be careful about on-page and off-page SEO as well in SuiteCommerce Advanced. We have the two others that are right here. Give me a second. So how important are backlinks for SEO? And the last one, and probably let me know if this is too much to answer in one question. How do we monitor and manage our backlink profile to avoid penalties?
Okay, well, as I said, backlinks are very important. Backlinks, your authority is very, very important as well. So the problem is it is maybe a little bit of stoic way of thinking, but you need to focus on what you can do, and what you can do is to do things on your website. Of course, you should try and you should use any opportunity to get some backlinks if you can. In a lot of cases, you will get backlinks naturally, organically, right? But you need to use the opportunity that your business has to get backlinks, like let's say partnerships or sponsorships, or I don't know, maybe some kind of events that you are organizing or that you are part of, and so on, some charity that you are doing, or dealerships or whatever, but what happened in the past is that people try to build this authority artificially, and Google was fighting against it. So in the beginning, people would build backlinks on forums, on directories, on blog comments, and so on. And then Google said, okay, we will not count those anymore for SEO. And then people started building fake blogs and selling backlinks, basically, to whoever needs it. So Google started fighting against this as well. And then people started making those fake blogs much better, So basically, they are not fake blogs; they are like real blogs, but they still sell backlinks. Selling backlinks is kind of problem, and buying backlinks as well, because it can lead to penalty. It is against the Google guidelines. The thing is, rarely people get caught with it, but also, Google kind of devalued a little bit how much backlinks are worth, if we don't count those really, really strong websites, like, as I mentioned, CNN or things like that. So I think, like, paying for backlinks in that sense is a little bit risky thing. And the problem also is that the cost of those backlinks is higher now, and it is questionable when it starts paying off to do it. So it is a SEO strategy, right? But it is strategy that is questionable, when the ROI starts, because it doesn't provide immediate results. You need a lot of this, and if you're trying to catch up your competitors, then you can spend a lot of money. While I think it is smarter to focus as much as you can on technical setup, on targeting right keywords, on optimizing content, and then after it's done, you can try also with those kind of backlinks. If it doesn't work, if all the previous things do not work, or for example, if you are a startup, if you're just starting your business, you need to have some authority, right? Usually, businesses that we work with, they already have some authority. So if you're starting with zero authority, it's really hard to rank. So that's why you need some authority. So that's kind of when you need backlinks, in the starting of your business, and later once everything is optimized, I would say. As for monitoring, I would say you can monitor it, let's say, with tools like Ahrefs, to see who is linking to you. But mostly it's not necessary anymore. I mean, Google said, like, we will not count any kind of spam backlinks, of low quality backlinks, and so on. It's not complete truth, but it is truth to some extension. So I think if you're not doing anything like buying low quality backlinks, you don't need to worry about penalties. And if you get penalty, you would be notified by Google. So I don't think there people need really to worry about it. There was a tool, a disavow tool from Google, where you could list all the backlinks that you don't want Google to count. But people who used it, it was more like shooting in their own leg, because they disavowed a lot of valuable links as well, and basically a lot of them didn't do themselves a favor by using this tool. So I wouldn't recommend using it in general. But also Google said that they will not use it anymore. So
that is great. Awesome. Thank you so much, Milos, for that. We have one that basically we have all the work that needs to be done on SEO, but after that, of course, we need to measure the success of it. So it says, what are the key metrics to track SEO performance?
I mean, always it is, as I said, profit, it is revenue, and it is, profit that comes from organic traffic, revenue that comes from organic traffic. Well, measuring profit isn't that easy. Revenue it is, but also traffic as well, right? Organic traffic. And besides that, I think always the number of keywords that you rank for, what keywords you rank for, what keywords bring the most to your business, really important information. If you're, of course, number of clicks, number of impressions as well, if you're growing in impressions, click-through rate, pretty important metric. But if you're looking at metrics like average position, average click-through rate, then it is a little bit tricky, because you might improve and to have worse average something, because for example, if we are talking about click-through rate or position, if you have new keywords that are not positioned so well, you have the same situation with keywords from previous month, but now you added some new keywords there that position lower, then you don't have so good average position, but you improved, you know. Or for example, what happened once, our client ranked #1 for one keyword, and suddenly he saw that he ranks #2. But what happened is he started to rank #1, #2, and #3 with his website. So on the average, he was #2, but in reality, he was even better now, because now he took 3 properties in Google search results instead of 1, you know, and still ranked #1. So you know, again, everything needs to be assessed manually, but those are the main metrics, I would say. If you're talking about Google Shopping as well, you know, there you don't have really position, but you have number of products listed there, and of course you have now in Google Analytics 4 you have revenue from shopping, and yeah, that's pretty much it, I would say.
Yeah.
Those are
so
again, of course, you can track as well some individual keywords that are really important for you and their rankings and how they behave. Of course, that's also something that you should do, I think.
yeah, so don't stay on the surface level and always dive deeper into what the data is telling you.
Yeah, because it can trick you. It can trick you sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome. We have one related to canonical tags. So basically, I think this one is particularly important for those businesses that work both on B2B and B2C and have 2 sites. So it says, how does e-commerce handle canonical tags, and what's the best way to manage duplicate content?
Well, I mean, SuiteCommerce does a pretty good job if everything is set up correctly. So as I said, with for example, faceted pages that are basically duplicated pages in a lot of cases, it will have a proper canonical setup automatically, right? You can set up if there are, let's say, 2 categories that are basically the same. So for example, you have I don't know, a sports brand, and you have Adidas shoes, and for example, you have shoes, a category that is shoes, and then you have subcategory that is, for example, Adidas, and you have this category, and then you have shop by brand, and then you have like Adidas, and then you have shoes as subcategory. So you know, you have 2 different categories, but both are Adidas shoes. Both are targeting the same keyword, and it's duplicated content. This can easily be set up where you tell Google through canonical tag in SuiteCommerce that one is the original, the other is copy. So it's very easy setup in SuiteCommerce. SuiteCommerce does a good job there. Something that you mentioned is, for example, if you have 2 websites, right, that are having duplicated content, you have an option there to set up a cross-domain canonical, but it is a little bit more difficult setup. But it is possible to set it up if you really need it. What I would do, maybe I would try to rank with both websites with slightly different content. So you make different description, product description, category description, whatever, and you try maybe to target different keywords. This is what you can do to avoid this issue of duplicated content as well. But you know, it's up to you to decide what approach you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. And this is something that we have also managed with some clients. So it's really important as well to avoid it. The duplicate content, I mean. I think we still have time for one more question. For those of you that haven't had their questions answered, no worries, because we will be sending all of the questions and their answers via an email after the meeting. So don't worry about that. I think we can select this one. For example, it says, are image descriptions tag also useful and or easy to maintain in NetSuite SuiteCommerce?
In general, image optimization for SuiteCommerce, it's not that easy. You should always use alt tag. Ideally, you should always use keywords in the image name itself, but I wouldn't suggest ever that you change it. I would say think about those things when you are uploading new images. Later, it's so tricky to change anything and so time consuming. But it is always useful to add descriptions. It is always useful to add alt tags. It is always useful to add keyword in the image name. And again, as I said, it all starts with targeting the right keywords, right? So it's really important as well, what keywords you're using there, not just to add some description.
That's great. Yeah. And with that, I think we are wrapping up this live Q&A session. So of course, remember we will be sending you also an SEO checklist on your inbox, so you can check it out on the email. It will be pretty useful for you guys to understand and to follow the instructions on everything, really comprehensive guide into optimizing your SEO. Of course, thank you, Milos, for sharing all this insight and all of the experience that we have had working with the clients. If any of you have any other questions, remember we will be reaching out on an email to answer everything. But you can also write us an email after the meeting. So yeah, big thank you for everyone, and we will see you soon.
Thank you, Felipe.